evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining in. We'll be just starting in another 1 minute.
Awesome. Thomas.
All right. So, hello, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining in. Before we get started with our webinar, I'd like to invite Prakash, who's the co-founder at Skillenza. So, Prakash, I'd like you to tell you about Skillenza to our viewers.
Sure, Shubham. Can you put the presentation, please?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Hope you all are safe. My name is Prakash Kumar Tiwari. I'm one of the co-founder at Skillenza. I'll take a couple of minutes of your time before we proceed with the webinar, and then I'll hand it over to Shubham after giving a brief about Skillenza. So, Skillenza is a 5-year-old startup. Uh, we are a platform for companies and professionals. Companies can run challenges, they can do programming, machine learning, product development, data science challenges to attract professionals either to hire or solve some problems. Right? We have created a very robust platform to hire and engage individuals across different experience levels, from freshers to lateral hires to senior folks. Right? The way our platform works is we conduct hackathons, we conduct recruitment drives, meetups, webinars like this, where we have industry experts from different domains in niche come in and present their views for interested audiences. And that's how we have been growing the platform. Over to you, Shubham. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prakash.
Thank you, Ruchi.
Thanks a lot, Prakash. Yeah. So, I'd like to quickly invite Ruchi now for moderating today's session. Thanks a lot, Ruchi, for joining with us today. Over to
Yeah.
you now.
Thanks, Shubham. Thanks, Prakash. Hello, everyone. Why fostering gender equality is the need of the hour. That is the topic for today's episode. We have two amazing guests from the industry who will share their experiences and thoughts on this topic. Since we are live on our YouTube and Facebook channels, please use the same to ask any questions you may have. And just to recap on context, this series by Scalenza is to assist talent acquisition and human resource community to help upskill, reskill, and enhance market understanding. In terms of the format, we invite industry leaders to join us and share their experiences, views on different topics. Stay connected. We will share more information about our next episode and topic via email to you. Let's get started. So,
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, Ruchi. Thanks a lot.
yeah. So, with the gender balanced talents, there is no doubt that an organization or economy will record a significant increase in productivity. It is observed that women are not only held back because of trouble balancing the competing demands of work and family. Men too suffer from the balance problem. Women were held back because, unlike men, they were encouraged to take accommodations such as going part time and shifting to internally facing roles, which derailed their careers. The real culprit was a general culture of overwork that hurt both men and women, and that
Yeah.
locked gender inequality in the place. However, these different gender based attributes are more reflective of the perceptions, stereotypes, and biases that characterize our societies. So it's been more than 50 years, or I would say 5+ decades, since the mass arrival of women in the corporate workforce and the first equal pay laws were passed. And it's been more than 20 years or more than 2 decades since the companies designed the first gender diversity plan. But women continue to be largely in short at all workforce level globally. Now, this is what we aim to solve and find answers during today's session. I would like to introduce my guest speaker. We have Reeba Kapoor, the coach and entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and global certified whole brain coach. She has worked with FTSE 100 companies across UK and India over the last 15 years. She's well researched, methodological, um, and an unconventional thinker who is passionate about working with people, teams, and companies to help them reach their goals through training. So, welcome to our show, Riva.
Thank you very much, Ruchi. That was a very nice introduction. Thank you so much. So, should I present my thoughts right now, or would you like to introduce Sunitha as well? How do you want to
Um,
do this?
I will just complete Sunitha's introduction and then we
Please,
can.
please, please go for it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, we also have Sunitha Bharadwaj, who is an entrepreneur. She is a founder of two companies called as Homepreneurs and Back to Work. Company Back to Work was started as an inclusive forum for women, which helps women to get back to work after a break. Today, this company is helping all job seekers in empowering them by helping them get back to work. Welcome to our show, Sunita.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So I have a very before we start with this session, I have a very interesting question to be asked, and I'm sure most of our viewers would love to hear your thoughts on this. So maybe Reba, you can go first here.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
as a successful entrepreneur and a leader, your journey must have been an exciting one. As a woman, however, we are sure it must have been more challenging. We would like to hear the details from you about your journey and the challenges that came with it.
Wow. So looking back, I think I started this organization called What's in the Name in 2012, February 2012. And it is never easy, when you set out to do something different. You get out there and you want to take the world within your own stride and want to make a mark. It's never easy, and I think Sunita will agree with me. Being living the tag of an entrepreneur is never easy, because what people see is only perhaps your success, and what people do not see is what you've done to achieve a little bit of however you define success in your own own terminologies. I think I'm going to be honest with you. My journey has been a very exciting one, and I'm not take too long on this, but it's been very exciting one because my challenges were not based on gender. I'm going to be honest with you. In fact, I had I think gender played an important role in me landing a lot of work in the beginning of my career. My challenge was my age, because when if you look at an average coach out there in the industry, they probably start coaching from anywhere between 45 to 50, an average coach. I started coaching when I was 26. And perhaps a lot of people judged me at that point in time, thinking that, she's tiny, I'm just 5 foot. She's so young, and I probably, looked younger. What is she going to train us on? What is she got in her that we do not know, 20 years older than her? So my challenge was more based on the fact that, of course, they judged me, they rejected me based on the fact that perhaps I didn't look and I wasn't the age of the business. But then the few people who gave me the opportunity to be in front of the audience and add value to their organizations, their institutes, are the ones who gave me the faith and the confidence that there are more people out there. I just have to reach them perhaps in my own speed, in my own time. So my challenge was different. It wasn't perhaps, as I said to you, gender based, but it was predominantly based on other judgments that people gave me. And yeah, and perhaps the challenge continues, after the COVID. As you could probably see, the coaching industry has taken a complete different turn altogether. We're doing things that we're not perhaps the most comfortable, the most happy doing, but you've got to change with the changing times. So yeah, my journey has been. I've fallen down lots of times, but I get up and I don't give up because there is a predominant reason for whatever I'm doing. There is a reason behind it, and that reason is very damn strong. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to fall and get up and then take it from there.
That's really interesting one, and it's really inspiring, Reba. Sunita, we would also want to hear your entrepreneurship journey and
And
um, what
Sorry,
challenges
Ruchi,
that.
trainers love to speak. So if you think I'm speaking, I'm taking a lot longer than I should be, just tell me to calm down, okay? Please do that.
No, in fact, we would want you to speak as much as you can, Reba. I will definitely let you know.
Please do, please do.
Yeah. Over to you,
Ruchi,
Sunita. We would
also,
want
I
to
would
hear
also
your.
like to
Yeah.
add my corporate experience here, forgetting the entrepreneurial experience. I started my corporate journey pretty young, around 21 years, and I was heading two business verticals. At the
Wow.
age of 21, I was heading two business verticals. One was head of corporate relations, another was head of vendor management. Now, vendor management is not a women domain per se, and when a woman is handling, you can understand what kind of repercussion you internally inside the organization that could be. It was pretty difficult, but it I came and the challenges were every day, because the perception of the other colleagues was not so easy, because they all came with an experience of 15 plus years, 20 plus years, and I was a young girl, 21 years, heading two business verticals. How did she manage it? You can, the questions that come across with the position and the team and etc. It was too much, and I was, every day it was becoming a pretty difficult journey over there. When I came and spoke about this with my father, he said, "Why do you want to see it as a hurdle? Take it as a challenge and prove yourself." That gave me an awakening for myself, and honestly speaking, from then on my journey became much easier, because I took it as a challenge, and I had very supportive directors to do my job. And I mean, I kind of performed wonderfully in that organization for 3 years and later moved on. And I think as a woman, the gender somewhere kind of creeps in. It may not be, at times it could be subtle, at times it could be obvious, but somewhere it creeps in. Especially because I have a feeling I faced this because I was pretty young. Number one. Number two, I was a woman, and heading two business verticals was not accepted in the normal way. And coming back to the entrepreneurial journey, yes, we faced a lot of challenges. But one thing is, the entrepreneurial environment, even for women, are very positive here in India. We have a lot of programs, and which is sponsored by NASCOM or NSCRL, ACWE. And every woman has to go through their journey. It is not going to be easy. Just by seeing Flipkart, don't think it is going to be overnight success. You have to run that grill. You have to kind of prove yourself. I have a feeling when it comes to entrepreneurship, whether it's a man or a woman, both of us has to go through the same challenges. I have a feeling.
Yeah. That's true, Sunita. This was again an inspiring one. It's rightly said. One is you need to have a desire um, to become an entrepreneur. Or
Yeah.
to become tough, you can say. And with that, yes, I agree that you also need some support. You need uh, your support system, maybe friends, your parents who believe in you and who motivate you to, prove yourself. Use um, your own strengths. So I would want to understand, Sunitha, from you, how do we define diversity in our workforce? What is its significance? What are the challenges that one can face while bringing in diversity and inclusion?
Ruchi, now when it comes to diversity, yeah, almost all the big corporates have this D&I activity. Um, I feel it has to be much more conducive. Um it is you cannot just have a HR manager inclusion over there being headed by HR manager, because I've seen both. I've been speaking from the two sides of the coin, because I've been in corporate and have come out of corporate. Now I'm an entrepreneur. Where I'm helping women return to work. I'm speaking from both the ends. You know. And it is such a this one, like you have to include even the operations manager or the technology women managers in the committee to kind of drive this, because
Yeah.
they are the core people who understand the problem, what are the challenges on the floor, and what are the people they would like to have even in the diversity team, or diversity hiring, or whatever. They know what are the challenges.
Yeah.
HR does drive this initiative, but more so from my end, I feel this team should be much more stronger, and they have to kind of push the envelope to kind of make things happen. It cannot be just on the paper, or it cannot be just on the women returnee programs. It has to go beyond that. It has to go beyond that, and these programs could be much more advanced.
Yeah.
That is what I feel.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Reva?
Ooh, my thoughts are quite crazy on this topic. I'm going to be honest with you. I've got some figures as well that I want to share with everybody. So did a little bit of research, and I found out that it's going to take us 170 odd years to actually foster gender equality. So what are we looking at is my grand son, or grand daughter. So we're looking at perhaps 170 odd years for us to really get to the point where we're saying, men, women. Of course, we're not same, and we're never going to be same. But what we can have is same responsibilities and opportunities regardless of our gender, right? Unfortunately, even today, globally, women are only represented 24% on the management boards. Such a shame. We are paid 10 to 30% less than men in our same sort of skill set. Perhaps we are, I don't know, we could be better in that aspect, but we paid less because of our gender. Um, India is 95th country out of 125 countries um, on gender equality, and for even we are not ready for 2030. So the state in which we are at the moment, I think, see, personally, if you felt it or not, that's another topic altogether. But does it exist? Gender inequality at workplace exists. Absolutely. I also think that gender inequality exists in a big way, and it also exists in a way that different departments, so for example, what I'm trying to say here, HR, you will see very less men representing HR. You see sales, very less women representing sales department. I mean, I can tell you this: when I started my first job, there was a big sales team of 10 boys. I was the only girl, right? Because they didn't want to hire many many women perhaps at that point in time, because they thought that I couldn't do the job. But trust me, after 7 or 8 months, I was the only one doing that job, because all the men actually ran away, and I was the only one that's actually stuck to the job. So they were very happy to just have me. So
Yeah.
I think different departments, if you see gender inequality, different departments have gender inequality. Companies on a whole could have gender inequality. It is also very individual. It could also exist on a very basic ground, grassroots level. Even I could unintentionally be gender biased. I'll give you another small example. When we were working together at an organization, so we used to recruit for these roles for business analyst in global markets equity space. Now trust me, unintentionally, if you even if you're a recruiter, you're only looking for male profiles coming from these particular regions because you think they'll do the job better, and that's how you've been groomed. That's how the company has asked you. These are the success stories in the organization. It has been working for you. These are the kind of men who have been joining in, and you've had them joining in. You've got your points, so you don't want to take a risk on a woman.
Yeah.
So, guys, yes, even as an individual, now that I was, you gave this topic, I was thinking that have I ever done it? So, yes, I mean, the biases are so strong that even a strong headed woman like myself, a true feminist, even I could fall prey to it. So, imagine that what's happening at the ground level, and I'm sure Sangeeta will probably put in a little bit more light that why are we less paid? Why are there is a departmental bias? Why is it management does not talk about it? Why aren't there any diversity trainings taken seriously? Now people make fun of you. Are have you done that online training? अरे diversity पे कुछ बात कर रहे हैं, अरे बस skip ही तो करना है, बस तुम फटाफट करो, एक quiz आएगा 10 क्वेश्चन का, उसको खत्म करो, you will be certified. Are you serious? Is that how you're going to train your staff on diversity and inclusion and all of that? It upsets me that now I think about it. Being away from the corporate world, you're still not away. You've got clients who are, of course, part of the same system. I see this happening. There are so many topics on ethnicity, diversity, regional, discrimination. Who takes them seriously? We all three of us have known that there are these online learning management systems. They have these certain modules. लोगों को बस करना है credit के लिए, but it is not adding anything to their mindset.
Yep.
Monkey see, monkey do. आपका boss करता है, आप भी करते हो. So guys, there is a lot of changes have to happen. They have to happen from a very
grassroots level,
recruiter level. I would not just blame again the management, and even from it starts from when I'm writing a job description. So I will add, of course, more of my point of view. Sangeeta, if you want to, of course, add something to it.
Yeah, what she says is very true. The gender parity and pay scale parity exists even today, and none of the corporates want to discuss about it. Unfortunately, this has been kind of an acceptance by everyone. And if you take the graph, both of you, Ruchi and Reeba, in top organizations, the HR is headed by women, but they are not taking it. They are not taking it. This kind of things acceptance. Should not just come from inside. It should also come from the outside as well, where they can come together and make a movement of this. When they do that, things happen. Yeah, go ahead, Reeba.
Sorry, it just got me again to another example. You just said that, of course, all the HR and a lot of talent acquisition teams are, women and, we're driven by women. But trust me, even when I started, I'll give two examples. One, हमेशा ऐसा होता था, each time you ended up interviewing with a female candidate, your success ratio as a woman interviewee would go down, which I never understood why that happens. Number two, women directors have given me less work, and I have no idea why that happens. So I think that gender inequality is not just happening that women are only underrepresented. Yeah. It is also the other way around. And perhaps we are not even talking about that in a lot of depth, that why certain departments have more of this, why certain departments have more of that. So I think problem goes back a lot. There's a lot deeper connection with why this whole gender disparities actually come into play. What kind of opportunities were created, for genders. And I think the kind of opportunities that were created for genders, I think that's what has taken and shaped up our societies and our work cultures and perhaps the global platforms as well, I think.
Yeah. In fact, Reeba, the points which you mentioned, the stats which you have shared with us, it's like it looks to be really warning one. If we want to see some change, we will not only have to start from what you mentioned, Sunitha, from grassroots. I feel that grassroots should not be only at your workplace, but it should also
Oh,
start at
yes.
your home.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely. Like
being
small
a
example. Sorry, go for it, Ruchi. Go
Yeah,
on.
I was just saying that being a mother of a son, I personally feel that uh, if I get a chance, I will definitely make sure that my son is equally contributing in my household activity, so that that household work is divided well, and all of us are able to focus. Whatever we plan to do next in our career, we give importance to our individuality first, rather than thinking that being a mom or being a woman, I'm the only one who is responsible to just think about household work.
Can I add
True.
something here, Ruchi?
Sure, Sunitha.
My father was such a progressive person. I'll tell you, he was born in 1925. And in 1940, he told his sisters that they have to be empowered. They have to educate themselves and they have to go to work. And honestly, I'm so proud. All my aunts were working, and even my mother, when she got married and came to my father's house, he saw to it she completed her education and she was working. And when it came to the sharing of work, when the maid servants never used to turn up or whatever, my father saw to it my brother took care of the vessels, and my father used to help me in chopping the vegetables, and I used to do the cooking or whatever. It was
A good
equally
household. A good household.
it was distributed equally. There was no gender parity. He is a boy and he is not supposed to do that. Honestly, my brother is he has got accustomed to all this kind of things, and that's how we had a gender equality. And in fact, I am proud to say women are much highly educated in our family than the boys.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
I think you and me both, sister. In my household, all women are mostly most of them have made their families proud. I'm not even just talking about their educational quotient, but I'm also talking about they've been breadwinners. In fact, if you look at, I mean, my household, my mother is the leader of the household, and I mean, I'm glad that I got everything that I did from her, and looking at her sisters, and in my immediate family, women are doing a lot more. I think they just need to be empowered in their own right, in their own sense of it, and then women can, of course, but boy, here, I think at the end of the day, if we are not given enough opportunity, women just have to grab it and create opportunities. We are no
Yes.
abla naris anymore, I think somebody, if you see gender bias at work, if you think, open your mouth, man. Just talk, confront, talk to people. I don't think ab chup reh ke kuch hai. You need to develop emotional intelligence to be able to tackle something like this at workplace. If you're seeing it happening, men and women, please don't be quiet about it. I think we need to definitely get up and confront the right authorities in the workplace, I guess.
Rima, in fact, you rightly touch point about the workplace, what changes could be bring. I would want you to elaborate little more. In
Sure.
order to ignite or promote gender equality in the
Mm.
workplace, what would be your advice with respect to implementing change like strategizing recruitment methods or work design, like
Yes, I
HR
will.
policies? Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I've got a few pointers on this, and I think what we'll do is Sunitha and I can probably go one pointer like that, because I know a lot of our points will also overlap. So
I
I'll share
agree.
one point, one strategy, and then
Correct.
Sunitha, you can take the other strategy. I think my
Sure.
first thing is that it has to be a conscious decision that when you are making
Absolutely.
and creating
Absolutely.
your hiring processes, you
Correct.
got to make sure you're speaking one language and you're standardizing it. Now, I've got 3 or 4 ways in which you can actually standardize your hiring process. Number one, all the recruiters out there, learn to write an effective job description
Yes.
without a bias. And I always used to find this really weird when people just say, "Oh, only female candidates are required, only male candidates are required." I think there should be a policy, a governmental policy, that if you find something like this on the job description, that company should, there's some sort of step should be taken against that organization. If you're still encouraging your recruiters to write male and female on the job descriptions, and that really tells me that you are a gender biased organization. And definitely all the people who are watching this, if you see this on a job description, that's not the company to work for. You can work with better leaders, you can work with better people. So number one, all the recruiters who are listening today and all the people who are going to be applying for jobs, look out for these job descriptions. They should not come across as biased. They should not be mentioning if it's for males or females. They should be written with a very neutral language where anyone could be could apply for it. Number two, I also think your process should be so clear that it should encourage your candidates to give the information that they're giving to you should be absolutely spot on. Your touch points as a recruiting process should be so clear and easy and simple to adhere to that there should not be ambiguity के लिए कोई जगह ही नहीं हो उसमें. It should be so transparent and straightforward that you know that this person is only applying because they're capable enough, to apply for this particular position. Sunitha, do you want to add something on the recruitment process, or can I finish?
I'd like to add something here. Recently one of the top international recruitment firm had called for a COO position for a manufacturing industry. And women wanted to apply for that. I called up the recruitment consultants and I asked, we have got a very good candidate, which is and they asked, the first question I was asked was, is it a woman or who is it? When I said the name, I did not say whether it's a woman or a man, but I told the name, and no, this is a manufacturing industry and we prefer a man to work. Why is this bias? Why women cannot handle manufacturing industry? That is something which comes as a shock because they're not, their mindset is she's not capable of handling it. The men
handling more men. Yeah, women.
Yes.
Men do not like taking instructions for women-oriented leaders. Perhaps.
Yes. Yeah, I would like to add something. One of my classmates, she joined a manufacturing industry way back in 90s. And she joined as an executive assistant to the managing director. She worked brilliantly for 3 years, but somewhere she was feeling that I'm getting stuck over here. She went to the managing director and she spoke about a desire to take up the next level of position which she is ready for. He said, see, this is a manufacturing industry. And if you become a manager, do you think people around will accept you? That was the question. And that day she came and cried with me. I said, you have to move on. Then that is not the organization you have to be working with. We see, and things have not changed. See, I am telling in 1990s and today's, and it is an international recruitment firm. They told the same thing. It's a manufacturing industry and we want a male candidate. Sometimes they may not put it in their advertisement, but when you reach out to them, there is a gender bias. Obvious.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you, and seen it all. Actually, also from a recruiting standpoint, actively done recruiting for a very long time. I did it for a very long time. And I think exactly what you're telling us, Sunitha, is, funny enough, I've actually worked for an agency, for an RPO, and for an internal recruitment team. So I think the biases exist regardless of who you're recruiting for.
Yes.
They will, agency bhi hai, agar RPO hai or internal hai, at any point, the gender bias can absolutely crop in. Okay, I just want to bring back again to the hiring process, Ruchi, with your permission here. I think, of course, job description is one point. Then, of course, clarity in the process, making it simple and transparent is another point. Then I also thought that, I don't know if this is happening right now. We should perhaps use the same format and standardize our interviews.
Yes.
Now, what is happening is that an interviewer perhaps doesn't even see the CV before. He walks in with a piece of paper, sits down, and starts asking, tell me something about yourself. Tell me something what's on your CV. They looks at the CV and the conversation just rolls in a very unstructured format. I think if you want to bring in, diversity at workplace, make a systematic interview process that has no space for bubbles like this. Your questions, your set things you'll be asking, it's a male or a female, you'll be asking set, and then of course, based on their competency mapping that you've understood in the interview, that's when you should be able to tell that you need to hire this person or not, right? Do not follow the old traditional unstructured interviews that have no communication between who's hiring, who's getting hired, who's called in for the interview. These three entities never talk, and we know this. Interviewers have no interviewers will come in with a complete different mindset to what the recruiter and the other people are have. So seen it firsthand, I'm going to be honest with you. So I think my next strategy is that the interviews need to be more standardized, and they need to be set in structure, so there are no space for bubbles, and of course inclusivity can be taken care of. Sunitha, you want to add something else, and I'll put in another point here.
I agree with you because somewhere we have lost that methodologies of doing the interview, Reba, because I do not know where it has got kind of nullified or whatever. I do not know what to say. But structuring, yes, I completely agree. And the hiring manager has to know in detail whom he is going to talk to that day. Many a time they do not know. They come there, then they start reading the CVs, and I feel insulted. Honestly speaking, if anybody is doing that in front of me, I get insulted. I want a person to read what are my capabilities, what am I bringing onto the table. That is very important for me. I have seen when I have gone to the interview 10 years back, that put the head of the organization or whatever was looking at my CV. Oh, you have done this, done this. I was wondering, what am I doing here? Honestly, if he has not read my CV, reading it in front of me, what am I doing there? Because he doesn't know what are my challenges and what is it that I'm bringing onto the table and what are my capabilities, assets, nothing he's aware of. And how is he going to do in next 5 minutes or 10 minutes he's going to spend with me?
So Sunitha, I think then it all boils down to. Sorry, am I echoing a little bit?
Yes. I think we all can go on mute. Reeba, maybe you can talk.
Yeah.
We'll go on mute.
Yeah. I think, is it better now? It's better now, I think. Yeah. So I think then it only boils down to the fact that, you like this candidate or not. Then people buy from people. And that's what happens.
I'd like to add one example here. This happened to me a decade back. I'd gone to the interview, and my interview lasted just 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that. I entered, my face was seen. It was decided she's not going to be the person or whatever. I could make out by the expression. And he asked me, right away, he asked me, what are your hobbies? Now I was wondering why this is the first question, and anyway, I told I enjoy reading. So what was the last book you read? I said, it is Nation's Breakout. Who is the author? It was like the question was like, if she has got this face, she is not capable of reading. And who is the author? I said Ruchi, and who is he? Head of emerging markets of Morgan Stanley. And he said, okay, we'll get in touch with you. That is all my interview lasted. Many a times, they decide based on the face. A beautiful face makes a better candidate. That's the perception which was given throughout, and on my way back.
Sorry, yeah, go for it.
On my way back, I felt so depressed, not because I was not capable or I was not interviewed, because of the treatment. I really felt very bad. I feel somewhere this has to change. This has to change completely. Go ahead, Reeba.
No, I was just saying, adding to that point, Sunitha, it doesn't only start at the interview process. Now I've started training my, my coaches, and I tell them, don't put your picture also on the CV, because there is an 85% chances you are going to get rejected based on your picture.
Yes.
Regardless if you're a boy or a girl, you're going to get rejected. So gender bias doesn't start at the interview. Perhaps it starts even before the interview, when you have this picture that doesn't impress you much. So So look at from that perspective. I've got a few more things that I wanted to share again. From the hiring standpoint, I also thought that to bring in again an equality in terms of how you are hiring and making a standardized process, you could really use technology as a vetting process. I think because of Corona, a lot of things have changed, and I think this is a great opportunities for everybody who's recruiting right now. Perhaps create certain type of assessment, which is again very neutral, and it will be shared with everybody whoever wants to apply for this particular position, and use technology for vetting. Then again, then it really will remove the bubbles of going into that gender bias situation. So the less perhaps the human touch points, I know sounds pretty crazy, the less human touch points, probably there are less chances of people doing the biases like this. So I thought you could use technology definitely for better vetting process, and you can also create an assessment or a sample test that is, of course, you can be shared by anybody, and it could be cracked regardless of whoever it is. People are also going quite crazy on this. They are saying, why don't you do blind interviews and blind assessments, blind auditions? I don't know how much Indian and Indian managers and recruiters are ready for something like that. Perhaps, of course, a lot of brainstorming has to happen. How you can, create something like this, a tool that absolutely, like a voice. You're not looking at anything, only hearing the voice, right? So something of that sort. Perhaps a standard test or a sample test could be a blind audition, a beginning of a blind audition. So something like that perhaps could be done. I also think you need to have diversity goals. No organization today, and I'm sure all of them have diversity goals, but how many of them are
Implementing.
doing anything about it?
Yes.
I think there's a big difference between having a goal and achieving a goal. And because
Yeah,
these are not personalized goals. Because
Reba, sorry to intervene. What's happening is it has become a kind of a PR activity today for many organizations. Hope both of you agree with me on that front.
oh yes, I agree. I'm not scared. I'm telling you this right now. That's what's happening. You want to look good. You want to protect your image, but what's happening inside is something completely different.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, you're absolutely right on that. So the having diversity goals, not just on the piece of paper, but I should be accountable. If Reba is working for an organization, am I a recruiter or a manager or a CEO who understands that diversity goal? What is it? Are you going to make sure X percentage of women and X percentage of men are hired for a particular positions? Are you going to make sure that there's no disparity in the pay structure? Whatever it is, the diversity goal that you might be, the kind of gaps you might be observing at your workplaces. I think it's very, very important that it's not only the CEO who sits in France sets that diversity goal, and it's one of your mission statements or vision, and your what do you call that? Your goals and your company policies, but it's also that even a Reba in an organization understands that if she is a part of this organization, she has to talk that goal, and that should
Yep.
be delivered in the way she's operating regardless of what department she comes from. If she's from hiring, she should know how she can apply that goal. If she's from numbers department, she's from HR, wherever she's from, she should know what it means to have a diversity goal, a bigger goal of the organization.
Yeah. In fact,
Sunitha,
I would say this pandemic has really showed us that how productive you are, that matters. Who you are,
Dazan.
that
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
true.
So I would also want to add a few more things here, from my experience, my observation. Reba and Sunitha, you have definitely made a very good points about recruitment strategies. I think that organizations should also emphasize more on their employer branding. If they are
Oh,
talking about
absolutely. We'll
div-
talk about that as well. Yeah.
yeah, they can just focus little more on diverse resource. With that, organization can also work on their policies and processes. For example, in India, 6 months of maternity leave is something which is compulsory. But why not having even a compulsory paternity leave,
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
than from a
absolutely.
week,
I would like to add
extending.
something here because you have brought this topic.
Sure.
Zomato, which is a very young company, Zomato is less than a decade old now. They have introduced paternity leave for the father, and it is about 66 months or so, which is brilliant.
Which is
And when
great.
an in company like Zomato can do, why can't the corporates do? Because for the corporates, their organizations are larger and they have people, systems, everything in place. They can
Absolutely.
definitely do it. And they're not, the initiation has to come and initiation has to be made it possible. Only then the whatever we are calling about the diversity, inclusion, all these things will fall in place. And it should not be just on the paper. If the
Absolutely.
moment it takes off from the paper and you start building, you created kind of a system, and you bring across people from different areas and make it possible. I think it is not very difficult. It is just the mindset has to be there for the organization to implement it.
No,
I
absolutely. I
agree.
think, Ruchi, you want to say something, or can I add a point here?
Yeah, I was just saying that I agree with Sunita's point that that mindset change needs to come, and that can only come uh, with help of relevant coaching, relevant
I'll,
mentoring
I'll, I'll
guidance.
say what it comes with. You know
Yes,
how
Reba.
that comes with, when everybody has one voice, one leadership, and when
Yes.
everybody understands what the hell does it really mean. Today, if you go in an organization and you ask a random person sitting somewhere, hey, what do you understand by gender diversity or inclusivity, gender biases? What do you think? What is your take on it? Sunita, do you agree with me? Most of them will not
Yes,
know.
yes. They do not
they
know.
are
They do not
they
know.
live in a cocoon, come do your
Yes.
job. So when you have when one voice, when you have that one leader, one sense of leadership, monkey see monkey do, right? It has to come from creating space for dialogues. You
Yeah.
got to create that kind of work culture where these sort of things are discussed on the table, feedback is exchanged, and it's not taken it as a criticism and destructive criticism. Feedback should be taken as neutral. So when you are creating space for dialogue, when you are one with your mission, and when you see your leaders living by example, and then of course that that leadership is then giving multiple touch points to prove that they are one with that voice, only then it's going to be possible. Just by, as Sunita said, piece of paper, nothing's going to happen. I also think individual mindsets, as I said, even a Reba should be one with that goal. Even I should
Yeah.
be with one. How do I create that goal? Do not take trainings lightly when we talk about diversity or ethnicity or discrimination or harassment and all of that. That
Yes.
training should not be taken lightly, and you should be again, two pointers to this. One, the training should be maybe a little better, because perhaps these dry, they think that dry topics, dry training is required, so perhaps engage better people to do certain you know trainings on these topics, and make sure that these trainings are applied and applicable, and then they're utilized at your workspace. So do not take these trainings lightly. That's very, very important, and that's where I have seen, no matter you have a vision, you have a leadership that talks about it, it's on the piece of paper, you might also know about it, it's a core value, but then the trainings are falling, they're not talking the same language. So I think that definitely can be improved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I would like to add
advice to
something
you.
here. I would like to add something here, Riba. Sorry, you want
No,
to,
no, no,
you
I
want to.
finished talking, that's fine. No, no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
And see, Riba and Ruchi, both of you may agree with me. See, when we are in the management school, we do the debating, we do all this conversation outside the office. We discuss this. We are so much emotional about it. But when we get into that organization, or when the women get into that organization, they somehow do not want to make it happen. I do not know whether it is the system or they do not want to lose their jobs by voicing out what they really want to do, because
Yeah,
there is a
I
CEO
agree.
sitting on top of it, or the things are flowing in from the USA office or UK office. Here they are just kind of taking those things to. It is like cutting and pasting the job what has been done in the US. That should not
I
happen.
no, I totally agree with you, Sunitha. I think it is a personal responsibility, not
Correct.
just
They
for
are not
women.
taking that. They are not taking
Not
that.
Yeah, they're not just for women, but also for men who feel that there is a gender bias happening. If you don't voice it today, there is no tomorrow.
Yep.
So keep your ears and eyes open, guys. One life. If you're, do not waste it. I don't know how if if it's happening to you, it's your
It's
fault.
happening to anybody. It's happening to
It's your
anybody, and we should
fault.
not let it happen. We should not let it happen.
You should stop it. And
Correct.
there are tons of ways in which you can do it. Voice your opinion. Understand. Again, I would just want to bring back to one more point. What else could be done? I also think there should be a clear policy on discrimination. Reba should know if Reba discriminates, what's going to happen to Reba. But I don't think so. If you today pick up an employee in an organization, I'm not talking about all the organizations, I'm talking about the ones perhaps who've not done the right homework. I will not know that if today even unknowingly I'm biased. I don't know what is the repercussions of it. Reba does
Yeah.
not know if she accidentally only hires male business analysts. She doesn't know what are the repercussions for her. So I think a very clear discrimination policy should be in place where you know that if you
Yes.
discriminate, you are in deep trouble. And I think that's very, very important. And I think what everybody should know, everybody should talk about it. So then there is no discrimination when it comes to women and men.
Yep.
I think that's very
Rightly
important.
said by you, Reba and Sunitha. I think beautiful points what you have given to us today. I
Are you
have my
sure?
yes, yes.
I'm
No,
happy.
in fact, I'm looking at the comments from viewers, and they are agreeing with us, and comments really looks very lively.
I'm glad.
So yeah, my next question to you both is maybe Sunita, you can go first.
Please.
Promoting gender equality is an equally crucial responsibility for all. So, how can man participate in this regard?
Oh, they honestly speaking, I have seen many men being more conducive about it, more open about it. They will most of the time they give a go ahead, and somewhere I have seen the apprehensions in the women's mind. When we discuss certain points, I have seen in my previous organizations when I have gone and put across certain points to my CEOs and directors, they have said, Sunita, you want to do it, please take it, go ahead and discuss with others, you go ahead. But when I have approached a male boss, women boss, that has not happened. There are two different things of looking at. Whether, as we said, it could be the mindset. I'm not aware why the women said no for it. I'm not aware, but probably I was too young to understand what was going on in her mind or whatever. But I really feel the mindset has to be there for any kind of implementation. And
Absolutely.
I feel even the men are pretty open to such ideas.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, they are, I think you all will agree with me. Men are taking about 70% of roles in the organizations. Especially if you talk about top leadership, women are only 24% represented in the top positions. So of course they have a lot of voice, they have a lot of power, they have a lot that they can do with their policies, with their communication, leading by example, building great work culture, having policies on discrimination, creating a kind of work culture that is great for men and women. So men can do a lot. And of course, if you're in a position where you are a woman and you're in a great powerful position, you could do the same. Do not let then the bias creep in for males. And I'm talking from both perspectives because I have seen it from the both sides, to be honest. So I think, yeah, if you are a leader, if you're a person who's working in an organization, regardless, again, if you're a male or a female, you both can make a difference to gender disparity. Both have
And
equal
I would like to
responsibility.
add one more point here. See, if we see many of the financial and banking industry is headed by a woman. How much have we seen getting implemented the D&I over there in this organization? Very less percentage.
Yeah, true.
Very less. Very less. And even when the women returnee program happens, it is many a time, as I said earlier, it is a PR activity. I feel sad about it. I have so many people, very good qualified people, whom I want to send for such program and who attend such programs. The programs get over and they come back. They do not get hired. And for example, right now I would like to kind of yeah, a little away from the subject of D&I. Now many people have lost jobs due to pandemic. Now hiring will start, as per to my predictions and industry predictions. The hiring might start again by November December of this year. If
Yeah.
they take back their old employees, that would be great, instead of hunting for a new candidates, because these people are really suffering and they want to get back to job. If this can be done, I would be very happy.
Yeah. I think it's a very fair point made by you, Sunitha. I know we are already running out of time, but
Yes, please.
I have a next very important question, which I feel like
Sure.
most of women must be having in their mind. So, for working women, especially mothers, the burden of managing home, in addition to their professional responsibilities, grows with time. That takes a huge toll on them. What would be your suggestion to them that would help them to strike a balance between the two?
I can answer this, because I am somebody, I'm going to be very honest with you. Sorry, Sangeeta, I took an opportunity, I jumped at it. Um, because I did not let that happen to me. And that's why I'll say the few things that I did that helped me not fall victim to the woman card. Ki bhai, because I've just had a baby 2 years ago. And I did not I did not let anything cripple my career. Even when I was pregnant, I was traveling and working. After my baby, I was traveling and I was working. I'm still traveling and I'm still, yeah, 6 months. COVID has jinxed my life. That's another story. But I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do. How did that happen? Is that and all women out there, guys, all women out there, do not feel guilty about having career aspirations. If it's okay for a man, it's okay for a woman to be greedy and ambitious and be where they want to see themselves. So if you're a woman, you have a goal. Do not be don't feel guilty that you know what, I have kids, I have household, sab ho jata hai. You just need to be that person who focuses that, I want to be somewhere in my career. Do not make household your excuse, because trust me, there are a lot of women out there who have kids, who have household, but they are managing really, really well their careers and their household. Learn the art of delegation, learn the art of communication, be firm in your ideas.
Yes.
I'll also say talk, talk, talk. Whoever comes in your way, communicate, confront, and be clear with your vision. अगर आपकी अपने लिए विजन नहीं है, दुनिया की आपके लिए वैसी कोई विजन नहीं है. People are anyway there to make sure that you are crippled, and especially when you're a woman, you are given all these responsibilities. And I'll say, all the women out there who are not married, find a guy who's great. I mean, I've got a great husband who really understands what I do and why I do it. So please, and that has only happened not because he's naturally nice, but when I have communicated my goals to him just the way he has communicated his goals to me. So ये excuses बनाना बंद करिए. दुनिया आपको पीछे करेगी, but if you are strong enough, because women are damn strong, we know this, right? Women are so strong. If we think it here, we're going to make it happen. So nothing, guys, nothing, all women listening, nothing can stop you until you stop
I'd
yourself.
like to add something, Reeba, over here.
Yes, please.
We have to have a goal, we have to have our mindset, and we have to chase it. You will not believe, ever since I've started back to work, I get so many varied kind of a people. I'll tell you this. One of the ladies who was an ex HR, she was in a pretty good position. She took a break from her career. She called me and she said, "Can you look out for a job for me? Can you send the job postings to me?" If
Yeah,
you are not spending time to look out for a job for yourself, what else will you do in your life?
nothing. Sorry.
This I want to tell to all the women who are there in this, who are listening to us. Please spend time for yourself, not for anybody else. You're doing a favor for
I agree.
yourself. And why do you want somebody else to send a job posting to you? It is you. She doesn't know what you want. You know what you want in your life, what kind of a level you want, what kind of a career you want. So you
Absolutely.
have to change, you have to look out for it, and you have to make it happen. The
Absolutely.
recruitment consultants are there to bridge you between the corporate and you, but recruitment consultants are not a feeding spoon.
Absolutely. If you're not going to do it for yourself, who's going to do it for you? Nobody has the time and energy. Sorry to say
Yes,
that. So
yes.
I think your own growth lies here in your
Correct.
hands, right? If you chop your hands off, then it's your problem. I think each and every woman who's listening, each and every woman who's out there, I definitely think look into that mirror and find that champion standing, because I know that each one of you has the potential. Do not make household, do not make discrimination, do not make any of those negative emotions curb your growth. I swear to God, when Ruchi asked me that question, how was your journey? Did this happen? Maybe it was difficult. I was head down and I wasn't even caring. You don't want to hire me? I'll go and find another opportunity. If you want to hire me? That's great. I was head down. I was focused, and and even today, with all the negativity that's around me, I am just concentrating on how I will get my next great project. So guys, I
Yeah,
think it's all in your
I
control.
would like to add something. Ruchi, Riba, both of you will agree with me. See, when the girls are studying in school, colleges, they top the charts,
Oh yes.
right? They are on the top. What happens after that? What happens? I really want an answer for that. Somewhere they lose their interest, their goals. They do their MBAs from the top management schools. They do it abroad. They come back. Once they get into the family thing, everything vanishes. Family is there. Please focus on your family as well as your individual career goals. That's very, very important. You have to be empowered for yourself.
No, absolutely. Ruchi, I've got 5 more minutes. I've got to get somewhere. So if there are any questions for me, please fire away. And then if you don't mind, I'll take a leave, and then perhaps Sunitha can finish the rest of the things with you.
Sure. I think we are almost done, Reba. Thank you
Okay.
so much for
Okay.
extending for another 5 minutes.
No
Um,
worries.
so thank you, Reba and Sunitha, for joining us today. The thoughts and insights you have shared, it's really incredibly helpful. To summarize this session, why fostering gender equality is the need of the hour. Um, the point is what we were able to collate today was that create a heterogeneous workplace that has a gender-based team. They are likely to be more productive. Strategize your recruitments. Work on your training and development needs of your employees, especially on diversity and inclusion, which starts from a new hire phase till the retiring phase. With that, create an inclusive working environment by doing pulse check with employees and listen to the voice of the employee.
And I just want to add 2 more points here.
Sure,
When
sure,
you
Reba,
have
please do.
a heterogeneous and a diverse pool, what happens to your organization? Think about from that perspective. You got wider pool, you got more productivity, you got a sense of competition.
Yes, yes.
You've got a ROI on whatever money that you're putting in. Financial gains are there. There is so much more. We probably didn't touch on this topic, but there is so much. There are only benefits of it. There's no negative of it. So you have
Correct.
healthy competition, you've got financial, ROIs, you've got financial gains, you've got, better performances, better employee engagement. The people stay longer with your organizations. There's a sense of loyalty towards your brand. There are tons and tons of benefits of, having a heterogeneous and diverse pool, if you ask me.
Yeah, so true, so true. Uh, so with this, the last thing what I would wanted to share with our viewers is that there is a quote which is shared by PNG: building diverse environment, it's a journey. not an easy one, but rewarding. So
Oh,
this is
yes.
a continuous effort. We need to
Oh,
continue with
absolutely.
this.
Absolutely. And I think everybody needs to speak one voice and one sense of leadership, and everybody should be accountable and responsible for diversity. I hope the biases don't exist anymore, starting from anybody to anybody, to be honest.
Yeah. So true.
Lovely. All right,
Anything
guys.
else? Yeah.
I think that's good from me.
Sure.
Any other questions, Ruchi, you want to ask? I've got a couple of
I think
minutes.
we are already over
Good.
time today, so it's
Awesome. All
done.
right, guys. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And
Thank
lovely chatting to both of you. Sunitha, I'm going to add you on LinkedIn straight away. Stay
Sure,
connected with
sure.
me. Loved hearing your thoughts. Ruchi, thank you for the opportunity. And I hope that, we do something crazy like this again.
Sure, we will. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
joining us,
guys.
Reba.
Thank you so
Thank you so much,
much.
Sunita.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
viewers. Stay
Thanks
tuned.
a
We
lot.
will.
And
We.
thanks, Kilenza, the entire team. My gratitude to them.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining us today. We will share information with you about our next episode. Do join us. Thank you so much. Bye bye.